Oh God, yeah, I'm sorry about that, guys. That's technical difficulties, but I'm not going to complain about it. So here it is. I just finished up a live stream at Midwest Motors. So if you didn't see that, you can check it on their Facebook page. But I'm taking off there so we can start the business. Oh, so yes, there were questions today. There were questions about some things. And if you have questions, you can feel free to type them here. And we're going to start talking right now about some of them. Once I get in my car and there's no wind. There we go. That's how it's done. Now, I don't know how many people are actually going to be on here, which is, it's understandable. There's only 105 people, and I'm sure not all 105 people are really going to join in. Which, I probably wouldn't because I'm busy eating Taco Bell. All right. First things first. Let's talk some turkey here. Okay? What's happening? What's happening is a couple things. Today, I got a lot of equipment, so I'm going to start testing that out. I posted one of the pictures on Instagram of one of the mounts, and it is absolutely huge. It is unbelievable how big it is, and it looks like it would hold a rhinoceros on a car, so I don't think I'm going to have to worry about it falling off. Let me move this just a little bit. Sorry. First one, so it's kind of sloppy. Ugh. So the second thing is, I got a contract job, writing for the Drive network. So I'm going to be posting some articles, written stuff on the Drive page, which will be, lead to other stuff. But for right now, it's supplemental writing, more exposure to kind of bring some other stuff to the table. It's not going to be primary. It's really whenever I want to do it. Yo, David, thanks, bro. So yeah, that's the other thing that's going on. So I'm going to start filming this week. The edit for the Escape is going to be out this week. That's going to be real exciting. Probably Sunday I'll have it released, and then next week I start filming this pile. And I'll have some other cars to film as well. But yeah, that's kind of where it's at. I'm going to get into some of these questions that were asked, and I know there's not a lot, which is probably a good thing because you're going to be bored by my answers, guaranteed. Let's see. So, yes, the manufacturer stuff. Let's talk about that. The manufacturer stuff. Somebody asked, what's the best and the worst to work with? And the best manufacturers to work with, for me personally, have been Toyota's brand reps are unbelievably good and competent. They are always on the ball, really nice. And there's a lot of support that you get from them, more so than really anybody else. Hyundai's pretty good. Mazda has been really good, but they kind of outsource their PR, long story short. They do have a lot of support internally, so I can get a lot of engineering info from them. Toyota's kind of the same way. Ford was good, not so much right now, because Ford actually, when Ford had their PR originally, they had this grassroots movement where they were going to hire PR that was local to the area. So they were not Ford employees, they were private people that worked on PR. Well, they decided that they were going to kill that this year, so now they've fired or released all their private PR, and now it's back internal to Ford. And I had probably about 10 emails to Ford about technical questions in regards to the Focus RS and the GT350, and I can tell you how many responses I got back. Zero responses, and I can't even tell you how many emails I sent, and it was a lot of questions, and I trimmed the list back, all that. Didn't get any answers, and I even called them. The guy's like, well, let me see what I can do, and that's just the reality of some of this stuff. Some companies are not focused on getting back to you. On the engineering side, with the American companies, it's a little bit easier. Like FCA, Dodge specifically, I can contact my FCA rep and I will get any technical information really that's not proprietary. And it only takes about a day. Hyundai is the same way with certain things, certain cars that are more managed in America. You can get certain engineering things answered, but a lot of these companies, specifically the Japanese companies, are really bad. If a car comes out of Japan, you're not getting an answer. Like the, engineering powerhouse for Dodge, absolutely. I'll probably get more answers on the LeBaron. What the hell was it? The RC 350F Sport, the one with the four-wheel steering. I asked my Toyota rep if they could explain the four-wheel steering motor. Yo, Sam, shout out, you got it. The four-wheel steering on that car, I asked why they did it that way and why they advertise it as like a four-wheel steering module when it's just kind of like a tow control module. They said they couldn't get the proper people that were involved in it. So basically they couldn't answer questions about their own cars. And I hate that. And a lot of companies are like that. It's just, if you ask more than the regular technical questions, you're not going to get an answer to it. And I think that's why somebody asked, well, how come we're the only people that put cars on the lift? I don't really know that answer. I'm sure somebody's going to do it. It's just going to happen eventually. But manufacturers are not good about the technical stuff. They just want to sell what's easy to sell. And that is, well, it has 17-inch wheels. It has dual exhaust tips. We have a 10-inch screen that you can touch with your genitals. All that stuff is what they care about. So that's typically what you're going to see with manufacturers. If you have any questions, I'm going to look up some of the other questions because I don't. Yeah, the underbody stuff, to me, like I just got done in Midwest Motors and I was talking about how to shop for cars, like what you want to look at when you're buying a car. Obviously, you're going to look at paint. You're going to look at the orange peel to see if the panels match, a color of the paint. You want to look for VIN numbers, all the obvious shit that you're going to look for when you're buying a car. But then, so many people take for granted the underbody. You can look at a car underneath and pretty much tell if anything was done to it. Like drive shafts. If somebody curbed the car, you can tell usually if one drive shaft was replaced, or I'm sorry, not drive shaft, half shaft was replaced on one side versus the other, because you can tell it's new or not rusty. And there's a lot of little things you notice underbody of cars and where they cheaped out. And that's one of the big things too. I said on a lot of these, I said a couple times that I would never buy a Subaru again. And Subarus are really reliable cars, certain generations, but you look at underneath of a lot of them, they don't have good undercoating. They rust like unbelievably. Have some of the worst surface rust and just rust in general we see on the lift in the Midwest. Okay, if you live in California, it's not going to be as big of a deal, or someplace that doesn't have that type of stuff. But yeah, if you live in a salty climate, they just look like shit underneath. Just control arm, like pieces, the metal, the structure of the metal, it's just really thin metals all around. The door skins, just the solidity of the cars for Subaru really isn't as good as some of the other manufacturers are. But that's one part of it. The other part is Subaru has one PR rep for the entire country, and I'm not going to say who it is. Obviously, there's one PR rep, so if you did some research, you'd find out who it is. But this person is buried, like beyond belief. They have so much work to do and so much responsibility. So the straight thing is Subaru is so lean. They have so little resources, and they just cheap out, bottom line. And you look at their support network from their cars, like the BRZ. I talked to the Subaru reps about the BRZ because we just watched a presentation about them talking about the BRZ. And everybody had these questions. The press had questions about the BRZ, what they were doing with it. And the brand rep straight up said, look at the chart. It's less than 1% of our sales. We don't even care about that car. And, you go online and you see people that bring their cars into Subaru that are enthusiasts, and then they don't fix stuff. They want to blame the customer for everything because they don't want to pay out warranty claims, and it's really common with them. And as having the FRS, knowing it's a Subaru underneath, and talking to the reps on both sides, talking to some of the Toyota people, the regional, the district, second level, third level support. Basically when dealerships call tech line when they can't figure something out, a new problem. They call tech line and then they get the engineers involved or the higher level mechanics that will fly out to the dealership and look at stuff. Toyota is really good about doing that and not just totally blaming everything on the owner. You bring a Subaru in with an exhaust, and especially one of their lower volume cars, they're just going to straight up they're just going to be dicks about it more so. And it just comes down to the fact that them as a company are so lean. They don't have a lot of resources, and that's kind of why I'm so turned off by Subaru completely, and why I wouldn't buy one again because of that, unless it was out of warranty and it was a project car or something where I didn't care about. But there's just certain brands I don't have a lot of faith in just because of my experience with them, and take that for what it what it's worth, because clearly not every experience is going to be the same. So I don't just want to say it's shit, but I'm just saying, hey, this is what I'm seeing. Do you guys have any other questions? I know there's only about 11 people on, which I'm sorry I was late with this, and yeah, that's Subaru is just, people either love them or they have a ton of problems with them. It's just weird. And you look at some, like my buddy Tom, a mechanic, I'm going to have him in some of the videos with the Civic video. Yeah, exactly. I'm going to have this, let me finish my thought. My friend who's a mechanic, he worked for FCA, he worked for all these different, doing, fixing cars, and he has an old Subaru and it's his favorite car because everything's like a Lego on it. He can fix everything so easily, and that's why a lot of people like Subarus, because they're easy to take apart. Even now, if you look at a modern Subaru still, they still look like they're from 1999. So a lot of that's good, but the quality just hasn't caught up. So I guess you can look at it both ways. My favorite car, my favorite car video that I did, I don't know. I think the Adam video came out the best. It was the most work for the least amount of it just didn't do well, but I really liked how that storyline came out. I like the Alpha video, the GT350. I don't really have a favorite. I think all of them, I look at them and I think I could do them better, but yeah, I think those are the three that stand out. Manufacturers that are doing stuff right. As much as I bag on Ford, they're probably one of the most committed in advanced body structures. You see the most amount of work being put into some of their newer materials. A lot of aluminum investment. The F-150, whether you're a truck person or not, a lot of that's starting to carry over into other body structures on newer cars. You don't see that a lot. Aside from the plastic, I'm talking about the aluminum substructures. I'm not talking about the exterior. I like the fact that they're investing in it because we've complained about that for 15, 20 years. Where's the composites? Well, now you're starting to see it more and more, and Ford's kind of the mainstream manufacturer doing it. Always naturally aspirated. Absolutely, for me. I like turbo on certain things, like daily drivers kind of makes sense. Obviously we talked about the EcoBoost and some of these turbocharged cars, where if you're just putting around every day, there's so much to be said about having all that torque down low without having to wind it out. But from a performance perspective, I hate it. I hate turbo cars. They're inconsistent. You have to deal with so many heat issues until you get into the higher end cars where they kind of deal with it out of the box. But even some of the cheaper, turbocharged cars, you're always having to deal with, my intercoolers heat soaking. You got to worry about oil temperature, oil pressures, turbos. It's just a lot more complication that I personally don't like. But let's be fair, turbocharged cars are a lot more. There's a lot more capability you can do with it, from tuning to modifications. And if you're somebody that loves to modify and deal with tuning, you can get a lot more power out of them. So that's why they're so popular. It's just easy. It's instant gratification. Review of Porsche 959. Yes, I would love to get my hands on one, and that's probably going to be somebody that's going to have to donate it to me for a review. The older you get, the more people really appreciate Porsches as a whole, because they're one of the tried and true cars that has been in motorsports. They're grounded in motorsports, and that's what they live and breathe. And they do have some gimmicky cars, but for the most part, a lot of their stuff is just their DNA is so embedded in their car, more so than so many manufacturers. I'd love to get my hands on it. Let's see if any questions I missed. Yeah, thanks, David, about that Adam comment. What would you recommend instead of WRX STI Golf R? Yeah, I like the Golf R. I need to spend more time in it. I think it's a really good solution. But I know with VW, a lot of people, even with the GTIs, complain about longevity and longevity and just chicken shit problems. My buddy Jack had a GTI, and he constantly had like issues with it. And it, from brand new to like 20-something thousand miles, where he was taking it in for just he had fuel pump issues, like nagging, like electronic problems. And I think if you're going in with VW knowing that and you have a warranty, I would be totally okay with a Golf R, even though it's not it doesn't have a lot of like curb appeal compared to like the Focus R. The Focus RS is like in your face, so it depends on your age. I'm starting to do that a little bit more, talking to dealerships. Audi A4 will be on there this probably in the next like 3 months. I just talked to the rep yesterday. Dealerships are fickle. You really have to have a good relationship with them. And Midwest Motors, I'm working on that a little bit with them. I really don't know where it's going to go. And again, it's one of those, these are expensive cars. I have a reputation for, doing good work, so it's not as big of a deal. But I know to grow stuff, I need to get different cars. It's just, how do I get them? Like here, I'm going to take a $100,000 car off their lot, put it on a lift, do full video, and really doing that in a day or two is very difficult to do. And it's like, I'm not going to, it's hard to go to a dealership and, hey bro, or a private owner, and be like, hey, you mind if I take your car for like 2 or 3 days and do all this video stuff? A lot of people aren't comfortable with that yet, but I'm getting there. As you manufacturers tell you that you can't put I've never had somebody tell me that I can't put a car on a lift, and I've been waiting for it, I'll be honest. Especially with that Ford video with the Fusion, when you find stuff, chances are they're going to say don't do it. But this is real stuff. That's the whole point of showing this shit. I think it's one thing to point things out. Like, I've pointed stuff out to multiple car companies about problems with their cars, and most of the time, there's been, besides Hyundai and Mazda, nobody wanted to hear about it. Mazda actually escalated it to their engineering, and I went not pretty high up the team, but directly to engineering to talk about infotainment bugs. Yo, what's up? Some manufacturers give me feedback. Glad that rocker panel. Steve, the guy I drove his RF Miata, he did his first autocross test and tune, not a test and tune, but like a driver school autocross. And one of the driving instructors that was in him, I guess, stepped or pressed on the rocker panel. It ripped the whole side of the rocker panel off on the RF. I'll have to post up a picture of it. But yeah, that's kind of sucks. But yo, Stevie, I'm going to be doing an RF video next month, a full review, so. Back to, some manufacturers do give feedback on videos. Toyota did a lot. And Toyota was very, very sketchy when I first started, because they saw my GMC Yukon review, and that was one of the first ones. And they almost took me off the list because I was talking about how you could use the GMC's head unit or infotainment storage space as a cocaine storage for drug dealers. And they said, their company motto is very conservative, and they do not want... I gotta get out of this sun. This is really pissing me off. I'm gonna start driving. They want really conservative videos, and anything that's edgy they don't want. And they flat out told me that. So you'll notice some of my Lexus or Toyota videos are a little bit more tamed back. But recently, from doing so many for them, they've said to me directly in their press stuff with the Lexus reps and Toyota reps that they really think that the work is really good, but they're still very nervous about just, going outside the mold. Yeah, and Saab Kyle, he's an interesting case because, that guy is unbelievable because it's so strange to watch his videos. It's like the perfect format for somebody who's shopping for a car that doesn't want to go to a dealership, but it's so weird it's almost unwatchable if you're an enthusiast because it's so like you're reading off of like the guy's got a spreadsheet of every single detail unless he's got this memorized. It's incredible. It's so weird. Yeah, you'll see some weird things in the Toyota videos. I'll sneak in on the infotainment, but I got to be careful with them. And, again, it's the mix between trying to be professional, running a business, and being honest and real with the people that are watching it. I think that's what's forgotten. You can make a commercial, but then you kind of lose your grip on who the audience actually is. And I'm kind of big on that because I think about, well, what would I watch if I was watching car videos? Obviously, I don't want to sit there and watch a fucking commercial. And it's just it's almost insulting to me to see some of these videos. And, well, just when you go to a dealership, I hate when they talk to you like you're a 3-year-old when you go into dealerships and they talk to you like you're just a straight up idiot. And I feel like a lot of like car videos do that. And I don't know. It's weird. All right, man. All right, Jason, you can post up questions on the Patreon page, and when I do this and get this more smoothed out, I'll answer them. Yeah, striking a balance is really hard for me because I'm more on the extreme side. I've always been on the edgy side, or I guess that's really bad to say. I've kind of been more normal as I've gotten older, but I was always kind of just more crazy with sense of humor that I've really had to curb, which is difficult to do. But again, you don't want to alienate the people that are the manufacturers who are giving you these cars, and you don't want to piss off the people that are watching it either. Yeah. This GMC, he's getting pissed. He doesn't know what I'm doing on my phone. Yeah, I can see the messages. I have to glance over. I should really probably pull over and do this. Because this isn't very responsible to be live streaming while driving, probably. Here, I'm at a stop. Well, I'm glad you guys like the honesty. Yeah, no, Kyle is definitely the most detailed guy. Besides, like, Alex on Autos or whatever, they're like an encyclopedia of spec sheets. It's crazy. I could never do that. I would not be able to do a video if I had to do that, but I'm glad they do it because they fill a huge niche. Yeah, you ready I'll do a 0 to 60 pull right here. Oh, there's a cop too. Well, he won't even notice this thing going flat out. Oh, yeah. Yeah, that was 60 in about 10 seconds. That's the best part about a car like this. It's like the Miata, a lot of these 4-poppers. You can go flat out and, it's like nothing. You could have a cop right next to you and he wouldn't even pull you over because it's just, they're so slow. Well, the Miata's not slow, but this turd is. I'm rock hard right now. Oh, boy. I wish I had a video on your end I could see. Let's see, what am I missing? YouTube Gold was the Saab color. Oh, yeah. I think Alex gets into more with comparing the pros and cons of other models in each segment he's reviewing. He's insane. Yeah, Alex is pretty crazy. There's a lot of, there's so many YouTube, car video channels now. Some people will say they don't watch them, which I don't believe. If you're not watching what other people are doing, you're kind of not in the know of like what's, what you can do better. I watch them because I want to know what I can do better. I don't watch them to copy. But if there's something that somebody's good at, I want to know how I can improve. That's really why I watch it. I do get turned off with the vlogging shit, like like the TJ Hunt stuff. I mean, that's really, some of it's really hard to stomach. It's just whatever. I'm not going to say any more about that. Anyone call you out to sell it? No, you know what? Really, I haven't had too many people calling me a sellout yet. I'm sure there's going to be people. I mean, what do you do? I mean, it really is. That's kind of selling out. When I first started this, I said I really didn't want to do any fan funding. I didn't. And I think what changed my mind with it a little bit is you reach a place where I think it was kind of like a place where I needed to see if people really put a value on some of the stuff that we're doing. And also, legitimately, while I'm trying to take this to the next step with content creation and what we're trying to do, I think the help is much appreciated. I don't want to keep this going on forever, but it's definitely needed right now in kind of this transition period before I'm able to grow even more. I know that's really vague, but I don't really know what else to say about it because I really don't want to talk about the financial aspect of it. The YouTube revenue drama. Yeah, what can you talk about that a little bit more? Because there's so much of it that I don't know which one you're speaking to. I would rather be viewer supported from the core group of people that really want to see some of the product or some of the video, really, than having to rely so much on advertising and bullshit. I had a guy, Rob, who owns his own business. I think it's in Seattle, and he was looking to have me do video for sponsored videos for like automotive parts, and and I appreciated him calling me and asking me if I wanted to do it, but that's one thing that I absolutely can't do is go and just promote products that I don't care about. Like that, to me, that's the biggest sellout thing of all. Somebody saying, hey, we're going to pay you $500 if you plug our floor mats or our sway bars or strut bars or any of that shit. Like, it's something that I have to believe in, that I find value. Like Ariel or TMI for the Atom, right? These guys, these guys started from nothing and built a manufacturing company and just loved racing cars. And they built this from the ground up, and you see how small it is and how much they've been able to accomplish. That I can get behind. It's like, I'm not going to get behind somebody that's just trying to make a quick buck off of like bullshit aftermarket parts. The channel name, yeah, that's a good question. I've seen all the comments, and I don't think I'm going to change it to make it I wanted to get feedback, and I think the feedback was very helpful. I think if I added cars or something like that, or Savage Geese car reviews, it would make more sense to attract a certain crowd. But I don't just want to do it to change it because I'm trying to chase numbers or something with it. I don't know if it's going to work. I don't know if it's going to help, and I have no proof that it's going to help other than looking at search results, knowing that certain words attract attention. So instead of just doing it half-ass, I'm just going to keep it for what it is and try to grow it, organically or whatever. And then if I come up with a specific name that will work, that I'm not going to, that I want to keep, then I'll just change it then. But I'm not convinced that it's going to do any good. Sorry, I'm rambling. Let's see. I've been pulling ads from YouTube videos, big names, Verizon, AT&T, because Wall Street Journal put out some shit calling them out for racist or questionable ads based on content. Yeah. Let me just put it this way. Everything is about money. Everything is bought and sold by advertising. We already know that. We're all a part of that culture. Is consumerism, right? We buy stuff, and the reason business exists is to sell things and products a lot of times, and advertisers on YouTube are there to sell things. Big companies like the whole the Kylie Jenner thing with Pepsi, in the whatever the hell, she was like giving a cop at a protest, like a Pepsi or something. I mean, a lot of these companies are just basically tripping over each other to try to have the next big viral thing. And I think, advertising is very dishonest, but it's a part of our everyday life. I don't know that pulling advertising away from people that were okay when you're making hand over fist money and plugs in the past, just because now there's a cry for racism and all that, is the right thing. But I don't know what I'm really trying to say. I think advertising's fucking bullshit. I'm just gonna say it. I think a lot of it's so dishonest and disingenuous. It makes me sick sometimes to go on TV and see some of these ads. It's like, dude, are you serious right now? Is this real? I feel like I'm in some type of like science fiction movie where they paint this like beautiful picture of all these products that, like the Febreze thing. I mean, it's such a clever thing where the guy goes into the downstairs bathroom to go to take a dump, and it stinks so bad. But thank God for Febreze. And it's like, like these are really clever commercials and ads to get people to buy stuff. But it's like, okay, I don't know. I don't know what I'm trying to say. I don't know. I don't know what I'm saying. This is what happens when you don't get edited. I'm just rambling. How YouTube Red affects ad revenue for creators. The YouTube Red really hasn't affected me, but then again, let's face it, I'm not making hand over fist money on this. It probably would affect people more that were big. The YouTube Red really didn't matter, honestly. It breaks it down what your ad revenue is based on just regular ads or YouTube Red, and you still get paid either way. Sorry, I'm trying to pull up the other questions here. Do you have videos planned that are similar to the video to the tech and cars? Yes, there's going to be a lot more of that. A lot more well thought out than what I'm rambling about right now. I hate to ramble and stuff. So in the real videos, you'll see something coherent, more written, where I can express something without sounding like I'm just crazy. Don't understand how YouTube Red affects ad revenue. YouTube is demoting lots of unconventional channels to come. Sorry, I'm trying to read this. YouTube, as a result, has been demonetizing lots of uncontroversial channels to make it cover. Holy crap! They really lost $2 billion in ad revenue. Wow. I mean, I saw one video from the guy from Entrepreneurs in Cars, and he was talking about how his ad revenue tanked because he's been talking about giving guys advice about females. Like, he was talking about a video with how to date single moms, or the problems with dating single moms, which if you're younger, obviously you're probably not going to care about that. But for older guys, like, a lot of his videos are really intelligent about, relationships, finance, and all that. And he was saying that since more people have been reporting it, or it's been more controversial content, now he's losing ad revenue because of it. And it's like, we're again back to, you're on an ad-supported free social networking site. Like, I think we all forget that YouTube is really free. It's free for me to upload. They're hosting all these massive videos to their own benefit, but it's still bought and sold by advertisers. If there was no ad revenue, YouTube would not exist. So I think, you got, again, it's like the videos I do, I can't just go and say, I hate Subaru, don't buy this car, because I think that they're cheapskates and they make shortcuts, or they're shortcuts in manufacturing and support. I can't just make a video and say that, because that's not doing me a service, it's not doing the viewer a service, and it's not doing the manufacturing a service. I have to straddle that line between being honest, being real, and just being kind of, opinionated. And it's the same shit for YouTube. You know, you can't be on there and expect to get advertising money when you're pissing off the bread and butter of the company that's making the, you know, the YouTube, or, you know, supporting YouTube, keeping the company alive. I've talked to plenty of YouTube reps. There's so many people that have jobs, and their jobs are dependent on growing YouTube channels. They will reach out to you, help you, send you to their high-end facilities and teach you how to make videos, of course, for free, to help them generate more, to help you grow so they generate more revenue. But that revenue isn't just from you making videos, it's from generating advertiser dollars. So, you know, it's just a big system that we're all a part of, and you have to understand walking that line. And I don't know that a lot of people get it, but, you know, if you want to say whatever you want to say, you want to be racist, you want to do all that stuff, you can do it, but don't expect to get ad revenue for it, you know? So yeah, I watched the first racing series. I used to watch Formula One a lot, and I loved Formula One when it, like most people did, even back to the V8 days. When they went to the 4-popper turbos, it was really hard for me to convert. I think with the KERS systems and all the stuff that they were trying to do, it just seems counterintuitive when you're trying to, cut out fuel stops and all the little things that take away the racing. That's kind of what's fun about racing, is watching humans make mistakes and race each other. I mean, like, really, you want to see the drama of people racing, not like having all the red tape in there. And I think, that series has really gone downhill for me because of it. I'm sorry, yes, 6-cylinder turbo. Sorry, I consider anything but V8s and V10s 4 cylinders. Yeah, so the turbocharged V6, I don't know, it's lost its magic for me a little bit. So, but yeah, Scott watches some NASCAR. He watches Indy. He watches more racing than I do. But then again, I spend all my time shooting videos and editing crap and driving. So, what do you guys like? Do you guys watch racing? And what do you watch? Yeah, I definitely want to do a meetup, barbecue, and I got to figure out how to do it. Obviously there's not a lot of people in the Midwest probably that watch this, and I don't know how many people would actually travel, and I'd want to do it right. I wouldn't just want to do it where it was like, hey guys, come out to a friggin' a parking lot and just make it miserable. It would have to be fun. The GP Cup, that's something you gotta probably torrent to watch. I have watched a lot of Japanese racing. I've never followed a series all the way through, but some of the cars are amazing. Indy Cup, NASCAR, yeah, Le Mans, of course, amazing. IndyCar is cool too, especially the newer cars. Nissan does stream it live. Yeah, that stuff. I feel like stupid because I'm disconnected from some of it, but yeah, I love watching some of it. And I like watching more. When Scott was a mechanic in World Challenge for a GT3 Cup car for a couple years, and that's the type of stuff I like to watch too. Is it's a little bit harder to find, and of course with scheduling, I like watching real like people, not just the elite level racing too, because it's more relatable. Yeah, those renders they're doing a really good job. It's almost like they're starting to exceed Formula One in some cases. Yeah, I know, I'm just kind of keeping this going probably way too long. If you guys have any more questions, hit me up here. I'll probably give it another 5 minutes, and then I'll I don't know how to pronounce your name. It's amazing. Champ Car or Chump Car? With Scott, yeah, Chump. Yeah, I thought about it. Scott did Lemons one year, and Lemons has a lot of pros and cons, but I think Chump is probably better. Again, it's just the resources, and coming up with the time to do it. I'd love to do it, I'll be honest. I think karting for me is more accessible. I mean, I think it's all about money. We'd all race if we could, if it was affordable, and that's what it comes down to. So yeah, the next live stream probably will be next week, and I want to do it a little bit more structured. I know this is the first one. I'm sure that a lot of people aren't going to be on here a lot. I probably will do a live stream for everybody next week just to test it as well for all the main viewers and see what it's like, because last week was a little crazy. But I want to keep this up and small so I can answer questions. I can go down for endurance. Yeah, endurance racing is pretty remarkable. I mean, to be able to run a 24-hour race, I mean, let's face it, to even run like a 6-hour race is unbelievable, especially with how high strung some of these cars are. But you know, I think one of the things that's interesting, that I've had a problem talking to people about, not just race cars, but the modified community, when I was doing the FRS stuff, and even like talking to track day people. You know, they go out there and they run these sprints like track days, and they go flat out. And whenever I go out, I think to myself, like, okay, I want to have fun, I want to go fast, but I want to keep the car healthy, right? So you can't go 10 tenths, and I think there's that magic there of understanding what's going to break a car. You know, endurance racing is also not about just, you know, building a bulletproof car. It's a lot about the driving. You don't want to just, you're not going to want to bang off the rev limiter, constantly do things to the car that are going to put more stress on it, so it's not going to make it. And I think a lot of people don't get that. You know, it's not just about going flat out. We do the BMW Ultimate Driving Experience Autocross in Chicago. Yeah, I probably should. Can you post that in Patreon if you have a link? Because I would go seeing what the non-modified factory cars do. No, yeah, I agree. That says a lot about a car too, what unmodified cars can do to hold up to certain things. It says a lot about drivetrain engineering and testing. Unlike like this Fusion Sport where it's spraying oil out of everything. You know, it's like, cars like that probably weren't overly engineered to be beat on a lot. But it's nice to know if you're going to buy a sports car like the Miata. You know, we BS about, make fun of that car, but where they came from in engineering it. It was designed to be a stock car and a car that's going to go out to do spec racing. You know, with as much as adding a little fan on the rear differential that's on a toggle switch, to just basic cooling. I mean, basic stuff, and you can still pound that thing around. And that's what I really like when you have cars like that you can just trust without worrying. Did you see the Corvette finish at Daytona from last year? I didn't, and I probably should if you want to link me to that. I'm a big Corvette fan now, more so than I was before. I mean, I probably will own one. Yeah, same thing. I used to be a Corvette hater, but you drive one and you see what they're capable of. They're no joke. They really are no joke. And if they're really going mid-engine I don't know if they're going to go mid-engine for all of them next year. Some makes me think that they're not going to do mid-engine for all of them. It would be too costly. But if they did, I mean, it's just a further step towards, like, really they are the ultimate affordable exotic car. I mean, you look at what they're capable of even compared to cars like 10 years ago. It's incredible. So if you haven't driven one, you should. But yeah, I'm going to sign off here unless you have any last minute questions. Thanks for hanging in. I know this is long. I won't make it this long next time, but anything else, guys? Yeah, I agree with you. It seems very strange that it would be mass produced, given their whole history with how they've done their chassis and suspension and all that. But I could be wrong, Thanks, man. I'm glad somebody's watching in Australia. You always wonder, if the Aussies even like our American dumbasses sometimes, especially in the video realm. I know it seems like Australia is a really big car culture. Is that true? Oh man, I could put filters on, bro. Yeah, now we're getting serious. If I would have known this, I would have done this the whole time. Holden. Oh wow, Japanese. That's kind of surprised me. Well, Holden makes sense. Yeah, Sam was saying, the guy with the Escape that I drove, he was saying that in the Philippines, Hondas are really big there. It's strange how every car, country has its own like sub car culture. So, but yeah, I'm gonna sign off, guys. Thanks again for hanging out in here, and just hit me up on Patreon with any questions for next week. I'll try to do better next time. Thanks. I'll check that link. All right, guys. See ya.